our edition here of the Medicine Podcast with me, Charles Prodigy Richey, as it is currently Wednesday right now, May the 1st, as we are in a brand new month, as you can see right now. We're going to be definitely having a special one today in store for you here as we kick off usually, as always, with our Steeler coverage. As you can always catch me streaming live here on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, as we're getting a lot more in right now. Anyway, like I said, for this first 3 minutes, we're going to begin into our trending Steeler news as we get ready to take a look at many things. For the first half hour, at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, I know you guys usually expect me at 6:30. I'll be having special guest. She is currently an actress and singer, as she is on 2 movie projects she's working on. This will be at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm talking about none other than Olivia Weber, as she will be a welcome here. And you can follow her on Instagram, on her Instagram page at Olivia Weber Model. And she's done in 2 movie projects, Welcome to the Deadlands, and the TV series that's upcoming in the 2nd season on Netflix, Mafia Ties. She is a home native from Pittsburgh, and she's going to be discussing what's like being a Pittsburgh fan in her hometown, as she's going to definitely be an honor to be having her later on. But anyway, like I said, as always, if you want, feel free and be a part of the Metal Steel podcast. The number we've reached is 312-209-2232. Again, that's 312-209-2232. You can also follow me on Twitter at Prodigy Richey. And you can also check me out, like I said, on Instagram. Check out my Instagram page, Men of Steel Nation. And also feel free to check out my YouTube channel, which is Men of Steel Podcast. And like I said, let's get ready into it. First things first, as reported by Ed Bouchette of The Athletic, the Steelers this year will elect to have a 3-back running attack. Let me repeat that. A 3-back running attack this year that Mike Tomlin and Colbert seem to be more all in on. I guess right now, one of the things that's been a lot concerning is that they've been running a lot of their guys into the ground, as we could see here over the years when we looked at this team. I mean, you look at the history of the guys they had on here, where it's a Rashard Mendenhall, a Le'Veon Bell. I mean, you look at guys like that for like the last few years. D'Angelo Williams is another one to the most another notable one, as we all remember. And like I said, I think this is going to be definitely an interesting idea. And they definitely want to change the process how Mike Tomlin always looked at it. Don't expect him to keep running them until the wheels come off approach. And I think that's definitely a smart way, especially when you got a young buck like James Conner, too, who's definitely been picking up his stride, pulling without the services of, like, say, like Le'Veon Bell, who didn't sign his franchise tag. James Conner will be going into his 3rd year this year in the black and gold, as he's definitely going to be having some company this year, as you could tell. Remember, as they got Benjamin Snell, more than likely he's going to have to fight his way up the food chain as you look at the running backs ahead of him. Remember, you got currently Jalen Samuels as the number 2 back, followed by Trey Edmonds, who's actually related with Tremaine Edmonds of the Buffalo Bills. And, of course, right now, Benjamin Snell, he'll be on that number 4 spot as of the moment, as we take a look at it. But, yeah, I definitely think that's a very fresh, interesting philosophy, something they definitely need to look into and what they want to really be in store for. I definitely feel. I think, like I said, you want to be a little bit more careful. Like I said, I think the last time that they did this multi-running back approach, that was back in 2012. That was, of course, following the year when Rashard Mendenhall ended the 2011 campaign, final game of the season against the Browns. He banged himself up. He was not able to play in the playoffs. And what ended up happening that year, they had the running back depth chart as Rashard Mendenhall, Isaac Redman, and Jonathan Dwyer. And remember, Rashard Mendenhall that year wasn't available for all the games. That was his last season officially with the Steelers, as he eventually moved on. As we took a look at it, and and then you had a guy like Le'Veon Bell come in later on, and look at what happened. I mean, that year they were 8-8, not in the playoffs. Then you finally have Le'Veon Bell come in 2013. And Grant, he was that back guy. And I think one thing that was very notable, too, that Ed Bouchette pointed out, he seems to go ahead and mention LeGarrette Blount. Because remember, he walked out towards the end of the Week 11 game of the 2014 season. And he was definitely pretty upset. Definitely spurring the team big time. So ended up being cut. And look at what happened moments later. Ended up getting 3 Super Bowl rings, 2 of them with the Patriots, and then 1 with the Eagles. So it goes to show you how things were able to work out for him. But I definitely feel like the Steelers right now, they're just trying to protect their investments. I don't think they want to give the impressions like they're just here to like work these guys into the ground. I think they're just definitely trying to find that team chemistry, that unity, that bond, where it's all hands on deck. I mean, if you ask me, I definitely feel that for the moment. But, I mean, we'll wait and see. It's a wait-and-see philosophy, how it continues to pan out. My only concern is, like I said, I will be notified, keep an eye on, is, like, how this affects, like, the production, say, of a guy, like, no, not the production, but the momentum you have a guy, James Conner. I mean, do you risk riding those highs and lows with him, if you ask me? And I definitely feel like that's something you really have to ask yourself and take a look at. Yeah, he got hurt. He still got to prove himself to be healthy. I mean, this is the same guy who's overcome a lot of obstacles in his life as we take a look at everything. But, yeah, I definitely feel like for right now, they're definitely not playing around. They definitely want to have some competition here. I think they definitely want to keep have everyone all a part of this thing. I mean, let's face it. I think it's definitely a key notable thing. But at the end of the day, let's not forget, do you really want to risk losing any momentum you have built up? That's my question to you guys. Again, the number of the call is 312-209-2232. Again, that's 312-209-2232. You can also follow me on Twitter at Prodigy Richey, and feel free to catch a live stream at Men of Steel Nation. You can find on the Facebook page. That's capital M, capital S. And then you can also check out live stream also on Instagram, Men of Steel Nation, and then my YouTube channel, Men of Steel Podcast, as we take a look at things. And as we're going to continue to move along here, too, another thing that I thought was very, very interesting right now as we look at things, Mark Kaboly of The Athletic, he also definitely seems to believe that there's going to be some concern as far as, like, linebacker position and safety. As even though they got a lot of things picked up in this draft, there's a little bit obvious question marks on here. I mean, when you look at overall the defensive side at it, I mean, let's take a look at it. Like I said, I went on record saying a few days ago, I think for the Steelers, as of this moment, they should be fine in that area. I think the biggest thing that going for them that they got youth on their side. It's not like they're an aging veteran team. When you look at overall where they're at, but I definitely do feel like at this point in time, where you really take a look at it and you see that most of the guys on here that are on this team are average in their mid-20s. More particular with the outside linebacking position. And I just definitely feel like it's not all that bad. I think the defense is going to continue to be able to make plays, no doubt about it. But let's see what actually happens real quick here. I think there's still room for the door to be open where they could be able to pick up some guys towards the end of the preseason. And we just don't know. It's still all what if at this point in time, if you ask me, which I really say. And that's a way I would say for right now is that for the moment, it's just that I would just say mainly the biggest concern is Keith Butler, who's going to be more coaching on the linebacking position, but then you got senior defense consultant Terrell Austin right here. Remember, came off in the University of Pittsburgh. I definitely feel like he's going to be like one key component of this because let's give credit to a guy like Keith Butler. He helped definitely big time with the pass rush. I think the only issues that he still continues to have is that he has not created enough turnover takeaways on the defensive side, not playing sideline coverage. You haven't had an interception return for a touchdown since 2015. And that's about it, I would say. And that's what I would say, that, in my opinion. So I would say that's one thing to definitely take a look at. I just feel like it was just more about making plays. But I mean, as far as like availability and like depth wise, I think they're going to be fine in that area. They'll find some guys to rotate in there. I mean, if you ask me, I mean, because let's look at like say like the left and right outside linebacker position. Pretty much you got Anthony Chickle, who's willing to back up both sides of that outside linebacking position. He is behind TJ Watt and Bud Dupree, who's at the right side. I mean, for one. So, I mean, yeah, I can definitely see where he's coming from as far as like thinning area right there. But I mean, at the same time, too, I think he also got way more. What was more of a bigger pressing moment need at the time? Was it a guy like say like having? Yeah, that'd be it. So yeah, no, that's what I would say. And then that'd be in my opinion for that moment in my estimation. But yeah, let's. I think for right now, it's definitely a little thin there. I think the only thing that was still a little bit thin right now, but when you also look at it too, let's also take a look at this defensive tackle. That's Cam Hayward right there. Another guy you want to like look into and make sure you got someone ready to succeed him. I mean, in that category. I mean, as far as when you look at it, I mean, look at this. You got Isaiah Bugs from the University of Alabama. I was glad to see him get picked up in their second 6th-round pick that they had in there that they already had. That was already their pick. I think they got that for compensation from the Cardinals. Excuse me. And then you also got like an edge rusher and Sutton Smith. So either way, I think that's fine and just dandy right there, in my opinion. So let's also continue to look at the other trending topics here. I'm going to say that Still, that'll be something by committee. Someone they'll still will pick up late. But then again, you also have like open opportunities for like say Mike Thomas to shift some guys around. Maybe like Mark Barron be able to play a safety position, who's also effective at one portion earlier on in his career. So let's continue to look at that. Also, too, Neal Coolong of Steelers Wire should bring us up an interesting point. Since the fifth-year option was introduced in the 2011 CBA, the Steelers have had the opportunity to pick up options on 6 players. I mean, on 4, excuse me, not 6. And that was Cameron Hayward, David Castro, Ryan Shazier, and last but not least, Bud Dupree. Do you guys really think right now at this point in time, looking at a guy like TJ Watt, buy or sell that idea that he'll start picking out, they start picking up his 5th-year option? I'll be honest with you, it's still a wait and see for right now. I probably have to say no, only because he is like one of your leading tacklers on his team, as well as the guys getting after the quarterback, which is a huge plus in my opinion, as far as like what you want to see out of this. But I don't want to like necessarily like turn a blind eye at it. I'm not saying that, but what I am saying for right now is that let's see what happens right here as far as overall when you look at it from a perspective and we look at things here. Again, the number, if you want to feel free to dial in, is 312-209-2232. Again, that's 312-209-2232. You can also follow me on Twitter at Prodigy Richey, as we got a lot more things to get into. Also, speaking of which, too, there was an interesting clip I heard earlier today as we take a look. And that was General Manager Kevin Colbert, who was appearing on a show on 93.7 A Fan with Colin Dunlap and Chris Mack, hinting at social media policy changes, which I found very interesting, if you ask me. And he definitely had some interesting comments as far as like where they want to be heading in that direction, how he wants to monitor these guys. No doubt about it. I think they're just definitely still trying to shake off like some of the stuff they had going on with Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell, not to make them feel scapegoated, not it. But I think it's like they want to just like turn this thing in a positive direction and get this thing going right, as you can imagine. But here was Kevin Colbert as he made some interesting comments. I want you guys to take a listen to this real quick. He was on the show with Colin Dunlap and Chris Mack on the Fan Morning Show. Take a listen.
You know, with the different branding and the social media, you know, they benefit from it. They also are challenged by it because sometimes it gets out of whack, and we have to do a better job of managing them as they grow.
Tell me more, Sir Kev.
The frame of reference we used this year, particularly, was looking back on the draft that got us TJ and Juju and James Conner. You know, none of those were the biggest, fastest. You know, they were good football players that loved playing the game. If it's close, let's take those types of guys. But once we do take them, we have to do a better job of managing them as they hopefully grow into NFL stars.
A better job of managing them.
Yeah, so there you go. Better job of trying to manage potential NFL stars, as he was just quoting. It was just very interesting how he points out TJ Watt, Juju Smith-Schuster, especially James Conner, definitely the core players in the last 2 years who they drafted. And that's definitely an interesting way to put it, as you could say. So, yeah, I would definitely say that. But for right now, we're getting ready to make this transition right now, as I was just saying here. As we got in about like any moment now, I'm going to be having Olivia Weber. She's going to be joining me here on the MSDO podcast. as we are still continuing to keep things going on right now at this moment in time. Also, too, like I said, I just don't feel there's going to be a thing. But social media policy changes, that's definitely, hey, Brian Diardo, I want to give you some kudos on that one, my man. You can definitely follow him at Brian Diardo. That's capital BDA of 247 Sports Interactive host on CBS, as he is a Steelers reporter. All right, buddy. Well, we're going to take a pause for right now on the Mass Steel podcast. Come back momentarily. We're going to be having Olivia Weber join us here. It's Charles Prodigy Richey. Follow me on Twitter at Prodigy Richey, Instagram Mass Steel Nation, then my YouTube channel, Mass Steel Podcast. We coming right back at you.